Are you whispering?
No.
Shh. Don't swear. Shh. Don't swear. I'm going to go to my page right now, and I'm going to share the Knoxville Raceway Facebook live right now so that you can go across, and so all of our friends can see that. So Stephanie Rave like do that too if she wanted to. I'm just saying.
What am I supposed to do?
Hold on. Are you on?
Yeah,
the
we're
TV
live.
now?
Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, good deal.
What am I supposed to do?
Just make sure you're not.
Go share it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Over there.
Go.
Ah,
We're just hanging out right now. Okay, so I can see that we're there, which is good. We got Meridell. Meridell never misses one of these. She's like, boom, straight away.
Meridell's a great South Dakota woman.
Yeah. Whitey is watching. Hello, Whitey. You want to say hello to that goofball?
I don't know yet. I just saw him this weekend. I know his kids like me more than they like my dad.
Well, really, well, you know, there's a few of us that that are like that. That, you know, I got to work out how I can be saving this to my page while we're doing all this, so that we can get it all out there and everybody can be loving up. Did you go and see Journey and Toto? Seems like everybody's been seeing Journey and Toto. Did you notice that?
No, they don't come this far north. It's too cold.
Really?
I think they were in Iowa or Des Moines, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I saw on the social media that a lot of my friends went to that and looked very happy. Even some of them that weren't even alive when those guys were big.
Well, bit of loving and squeezing and teasing and all that sort of stuff, and don't stop believing. And
there might be a huge baby boom in Iowa now because of the concert. You know what concerts did to people back then.
Yeah, I would think that most people that love Toto and Journey would be really shocked if they were able to. Never mind. Let's not go there. You know what I'm talking about. I'm not thinking of baby boom. Anyway,
hey, don't stop believing.
Yeah. I guess the rain's down in Africa. So
yeah.
Oh God.
Doug Clark's happy right now.
You know, Alan Dehigh. You know, we often talk about your Norway heritage, Justin. Welcome to Wednesday Night Slide, by the way. But I don't know if you know, Wally Price, the great Wally Price, is tuned in. Hall of Fame.
Happy to see Wally.
You know, Alan Dehigh, he picked me up at the airport once at Des Moines Airport and took me back to Knoxville. And he put.
Glad you're still alive.
Yeah, he put his beautiful wife's name into the Siri, you know, like to call her in the car, and it went Dehigh. So I'm like, I didn't know, but if you know that, but he's actually part Japanese. Dehigh is Japanese. That's the way it was said. Do you know if I could get Alan Dehigh off Jägermeister and onto methanol moonshine, I could retire tomorrow?
Yeah, it would be a hot minute, wouldn't it?
Our great friend Mike Riddell, aka Darth Vader, is tuned in. I knew he would be watching as well. Jeremy Holdifer, I hope I'm saying that right. Holdifer, I'm sure I'm not saying that right. And I'm pretty sure that your dad is down at the corner pub. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday Night Slide. We are talking with Flag 2, who these days is Flag 1, Justin Clark, from his home in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, where I can tell you from personal experience, you are not allowed to park on the front lawn, correct?
No, that's right. But you have not missed an opportunity to do that. But we wish you had come up right now, because we would have to pull you out of the snowbank.
I hear it's pretty nasty there at the moment, and that you've got freezing rain and all that sort of stuff. So what does that mean? What is freezing rain?
The bad weather tomorrow's going to be 50 degrees, and then we're going to get up to an inch of rain tomorrow night with thunderstorms and hail, and then the next day, Friday, we will be in a winter advisory or something, I guess, and we're going to have freezing rain, which is like it's snowing and you get hit in the face with the frozen balls of snow that are larger than just nice little snowflakes, and then up to 3 or 4 inches of snow after that. And we've had a ton of melting now. We can see our streets and we can almost see some of the curbs. Like it's South Dakota's a blast. Everybody should live here.
South Dakota. The cool part is in 2 weeks' time, you will be in IOWA and you will be flagging the season opener. We're going to talk about that a bit more in a second. You know, I was driving yesterday and I went to a gas station to fill up and I had some jerky. Boy, I got to tell you, it was crap. And you know, there's one thing.
Australian jerky?
Yeah, it was pretty average.
You
know, one thing I really miss, one thing I love about this place is they always have the best beef jerky. I always come out like the bags this size, and so
great jerky, great pizza,
great coffee.
Sell Miller Lite there. I mean,
Casey's,
I tell you what,
here for good.
Yeah.
That's what
Tony
says it. Tony says it better than I do, Justin. I've got to be honest with you. He knows how to say that. Casey's here for good, and those points, those loyalty points that you get. Need to get one of those.
It's Tony's lottery money.
I think you might.
If we're not careful when we talk about it too much, they might drop Brownie and go with us.
Well, you know, probably not. It's not kangaroo jerky, but we do have that. Mike just asked the question, is it kangaroo jerky? And we do actually have that. It's a different kind of thing. Jamie just made a comment there, needs some Yinglings. Now, the funny thing is, I got that picture of your dad. We snuck a Yingling into his hand at Huset's. And anyway, I won't even talk about that. Justin Clark, this is your life. When is your earliest memory of going to the races with your dad and watching him being a flag waver?
I don't know exactly what year, but it would have been back in the 80s. We used to go to Hartford Speedway, which is just west of Sioux Falls a little bit. The track is still up and going. It's called I-90 Speedway now. But it was, I'm pretty sure that's the first place that I would remember, that I do remember going. It was a half mile back then, and it was a big track, and you know, a lot of the I don't remember a lot of the details from it because I was born in 75 and he didn't start flagging until it was the 80s sometime. I don't remember exactly when, but it was, I mean, me and my sister Courtney really, I mean, that's what we did on the weekends. And as Dad's career progressed through flagging, we traveled a lot more, but I think it had to be back there at not Houston, it's Hartford.
Where did you sit? Like, where did you just sit in the bleachers behind him? Like, was there a set place that you, when you went to the track and he's working, where did you sit?
Well, we sat with my mom, and we usually sat, I guess, kind of closer down to the, not right behind my dad, but we were usually off to the side of my dad, you know. I think now that I think about that, I think I know why. Probably, he only has one eye, and he's blind in his left eye, and it seems like we always sat to the right side of him so he could look back and see us. I've never been asked that, and I think that is probably why we always sat to his right side. But it was always to the right, and I don't know, probably 8 to 15 rows up, down closer to turn one. He never wanted us sitting close to the track, and he never wanted us to turn our back to the track. There's a lot of weird little rules, which now that I'm older and I've been around racing a lot more, I understand why, because I don't want my family to do the same thing at all. It's a dangerous place in some of them seating areas.
Yeah, so I guess if you wanted to be a little sugar honey iced tea, you can read in what I'm talking about that. You would have been better doing that on the left side of him if you wanted to get away with something, I guess. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I'm sure. Yeah, the left side is not his good side, which
Justin,
surprises me with the way he flagged because
yeah.
everything came from the left.
Justin, when I was very grateful that you and Doug set me up to go and spend a morning with Doug Wolfgang, who's been a family friend of yours since you were basically alive pretty well, because
Yeah,
Doug and Doug went to school together in South
you
Dakota.
bet.
And I asked Doug Wolfgang, I said, your buddy's gone on to become the most famous flag waver in all of sprint car racing, and he went, yeah. So what? He's my friend, and that's been he just quantifies that as, it doesn't matter what he does. He's my friend. And your life has been quite extraordinary through your dad's life in racing. You've come up through this sport because of that. But at the end of the day, yeah, he's, Doug Clark, but he's just your dad. And when it all comes down to it, yeah, it's cool. He's being a flag waver and the most famous in all the sprint car racing, but he's just your dad. That's your life.
Yeah, yeah, he's been around, as much as they could with racing. I mean, he got into racing pretty heavy where like he was the big, most important official at the track, kind of. And back in the 80s and 90s, I guess, I don't know, still so well when he quit, I guess. But he was around as much as he could be. I was big into sports and different things like that, and I didn't want to sell myself short of maybe the athlete I could have been or something like that. So I continued on with the sports until I got injured in high school to where I couldn't do much anymore. And I mean, my dad would come to my games or do all the stuff that he could as much as he could. My mom was always at ever. She never missed anything of me and my sisters because she never left town. Racing wasn't her priority. And I understand why now that I've done it, how or my dad's decisions to do what he did like that, and it was, I never was mad about it. I like when kids are at sports and they're involved with their team, they can't just leave and quit doing what they're doing to go talk to their parents and stuff. So my dad might have been there supporting me or watching me or something, but I couldn't go over and talk to him. It wasn't like that. So it didn't matter really in the game wise if he was sitting there or not. I didn't play any differently because he was there or not.
Yeah.
The sport was cool, but is what it is. It didn't make me a better or worse person.
As a little kid, Justin, watching your dad flag, did it seem like a cool job, or did you see some sides of it that weren't so cool? Because you were talking before, we were talking before this, where people are either really happy to see you or they're really not happy to see you. You didn't put that in your Bobby Meinzer Yeti, by the way.
I'm getting that and it'll be shortly.
All right, I got my Lunstra here. I always keep my Lunstra.
Steph will go grab that.
I've got my Bobby Meinzer back here somewhere too, by the way.
Oh yeah, we were just down and seeing them.
But it wasn't always a glamorous role, was it? There's a fair bit of I would imagine a fair bit of hostility at times that gets leveled at a flagman.
Yeah, there was. It was in the late 80s more than anything, I think. But my dad being a black man and me and my sister, I call it purebred. We're white and black. But there's a lot of name calling back then. There's a lot of people that didn't like my dad or us, maybe. I guess it's mostly sent straight to my dad personally, but they didn't like him because he was a black guy in a white man's sport. I mean, like, I can be honest about it. That's what it is. You don't see black sprint car drivers very often. Like, I don't even know if there's 10 in the United States right now. I have no idea because it's not a prevalent sport for them. But back then, it was a much more vocal deal with people, and people weren't really shamed for calling names and this and that, I mean, I remember down in Knoxville back, I don't know what year it would have been, but I mean, we would get escorted by the sheriffs to my dad's vehicle. When I started going out of Knoxville, when my sister and I were young, and my dad had a van, and when we were young, my mom would go down there. We'd sit in turn one in the cold pit area, and the van would be facing towards Casey's over there, the Hy-Vee,
Yeah.
and we didn't leave that area of the van much because we didn't, we knew people didn't like dad because of the calls he made.
Yeah.
And and it was that's just the way it was. We've had cops walk us after the races to the car. We've had walked up to our car before, and people didn't like a call dad made, and they threw brake clean or something on his car and stripped the paint right off it, and we had to get in there and drive away with it. And it was just I the people were mad about the race to begin with, but then him being a black man penalizing a driver or something really fueled them to act out in a crappy kind of way,
Wow, I never realized that, mate. I suppose I see things through rose-colored glasses. And let me paint the flip side of that. When you guys all traveled to Australia in 2020 on the Doug Clark Down Under tour, I think even you had to be surprised with the amount of people that knew who your dad was, wanted to have a picture with him. On the other side of the world, people revered and loved him.
Yeah, that was the one of the best trips I've ever had in my life, and as well as my dad and my wife. Like, that was so much fun, and the people, it was overwhelming, really. Like, buying you beer and just wanting to take a picture with you or shake your hand, or it's like, I've never met these people, or none of us have met any of them, and they were just, it's a very, very nice, and it felt great to have people that were just genuine race fans, but they knew us just pretty much just by social media or watching a video. But it was a blast having food with them, like, come up and eat and try this, and I have no idea what all the food we ate, but it was all good. People are all great.
And it's amazing. That's the beautiful part of our racing world, Justin, that you could be anywhere in the world right now, Australia, America, New Zealand, and need something broken down on the side of the road, put something on your Facebook page and go, hey, I need help. And that our racing church, our family all over the world is your aid.
Yep. Yeah, it is. The racing family, I think, is bigger than any family in the world. And it's, we kind of base ourselves around sprint cars and that, but it doesn't matter if you go to a NASCAR race here in America, or I've never been to many other ones, but I'd imagine if you go to a drag race in Formula One, anything like that, you're a race fan. And that's really cool to see that union between people.
Yeah. When you started racing, and we'll talk about that more in depth in a minute, but everybody wants to get someone that gives you some idea what the hell you're doing. It's nice to have someone who's been in the game, who might come along, like a football coach or something, tell you how to throw the ball better or to receive better. But when you have someone like this helping you learn to drive a sprint car, I mean, Doug Wolfgang, mentoring you a lot of times, I'm sure he tried to spend as much time around your racing as he could. Yeah.
Yeah. So I when I got my race car stuff going, after everything I did before that, then I decided I want a race car, and him and Jack Trigg helped me out a bunch. They told me what to do, this to do, and the first thing Wolfgang said when we got the car, him and Trigg did that car, and the first thing Wolfgang said was, you got a really nice car, don't go out and get up, right? And this was the second night I raced, I believe. because the first night I had a couple engine issues, and the second night, and Wolfgang said that, and I go and drive that thing damn near straight in the wall. Like I mean, it was terrible. Flip it over, put my hat down, walk to the pits. It was like he told me not to do that, and I did that. Like, but then I think the next week or couple weeks, whatever it was, I led the whole race and got past them. I think it was the last lap or couple laps. So I got second place, which is stupid because the only thing I ever drove was a couple go-karts, and I wasn't racing. I just watched racing. But having Doug around, I mean, that's a huge confidence. I mean, there's so many racers still to this day that if Wolfgang walked into the pit, they're going to change their attitude. They're going to change, it's a huge thing.
Nathan Peterson is just saying here, when he started racing, it was a lot of work keeping him on the track.
Yeah. I had a good sized aluminum pile outside of my shop at the Wentz. Steve Went let me keep he let me keep my car in his garage, and like I didn't have anywhere to put a car. I didn't have a trailer. I didn't have a truck to pull it with. I just knew I wanted to drive a race car, and I had so much aluminum and scrap iron behind his garage that I probably could have started a business.
You just noticed that Mandy Meinzer is just tuned in, so you should hold up that really nice Yeti that you just had there. So
yeah, I got Bobby's Yetis.
Yeah, good work.
And even a picture of his car.
Wow,
And Wade,
Mandy,
I gotta tell you, Dennis Gainey just told me to tell you your hat is crooked.
it's crooked.
Yeah.
You know what? He should just go and have Betty with his anniversary and just leave me alone, because we're going to talk later about that guy. Mandy is saying that Justin Clark is still a lot of work keeping him on track. Well, that's a pretty good point, really.
It's tough to keep up with the big dog.
Jason Price, why are you saying such a joy to work next to another father and son duo like Doug and Justin? And I think that's a pretty cool comment. And that's the one thing that I suppose that I'm most grateful for, Justin, being whenever you pull that blue shirt on at Knoxville, you're part of a really big family that are very, very to work at the Knoxville Raceway. And you must have felt that most of your life. Oh
yeah, for sure. I've been going down there for I don't know how many years, but whatever. And the people, I mean, it's rare that the people change. I've been around some of the people like Wally my whole life. Jason and I started at the track, I think the same year. This was our 19th season, but his dad's been there driving the pace truck forever. My dad's been there flagging forever, and we started at the same time. And Cappy hired a lot of people I think he believed in, and maybe he thought that they'd be around for a long time and keep Knoxville the way it is, like McCoy. He's been there forever. And Profit, like there's a lot of people, we don't have to do it. Everybody has other jobs kind of, and we do that because we love Knoxville. We love racing. We love our racing family. We want to see that place continue to be the best track in the world.
We should say happy birthday to Connie McCoy, because it's her birthday.
Oh yeah. Happy birthday, Connie, for sure.
Happy birthday. My goodness, that woman, she's got the patience of a saint, because the amount of crap that I don't show up with, I'm like, hey, Connie, can I get a spare set of earbuds? Hey, Connie, my radio doesn't work. Hey, Connie, can I get some more batteries? Hey, Connie, have you got a rundown? Like, she's got enough to worry about. It's like she's got, in that pits, it's like she's got 500 of her children that she needs to look after.
Yeah, exactly what I was just thinking. She's got a whole track full of kids.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I don't know.
God bless her school days.
Now, I don't know if it's her birthday today in America, but I know it is in Australia, because what happens is Facebook gives us because we're Back to the Future right now. To give you an idea, it's 4 minutes away from noon on Thursday here. So it's basically lunchtime Thursday for me right now. It'll tell me that your
And it's just
birthday is
about
day
8
ahead.
p.m. here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So
Just about bedtime.
that's only because your lovely fiance should be your wife. I know Steph's sitting on the other side of this camera right now.
We're
so
working on it.
she can throw something at you. There's probably a packet of Vegemite there she can throw at you for the
She
kitchen.
doesn't need it.
There you go. I knew it was there somewhere. She gets up in the dark. She gets up at 4 a.m. and works at Clark Coatings. She is Clark Coatings. Tell me about that.
Yep.
And why did you get in? This poor woman was a beauty therapist and hairstylist. Suddenly she's
Yep.
powder coating all manner of things. Why did you get into the powder coating business?
Well, COVID came around or whatever, and her client base shut down. Nobody went out and did their hair. Nobody cared what they look like, I guess. But so we wrote it out for as long as we could, and we had go-karts our kids ran, and I wanted to make a little powder coating oven that I could do stuff and with Dennis Gainey's kids and Bobby's kid, and I was just thinking this might be cool to do, and Roger Downing's son also. But so I went in to I was going to build my own stuff and do this, just a little side thing for our race family for Knox Vegas. And we went in and the guy told us, if you build it big enough, we'll give you all our powder coating stuff. And I had no intentions of doing anything like that.
Yeah.
And so, sure, long story short, we decided to do it, and went to a school down in Nashville, Tennessee, and started powder coating. My dad was a powder coater. He did truck wheels and things like that for a lot of years, and so I had a little base knowledge of it.
Yeah.
Nothing I did, but and now it's taken off. Clark's Custom Coatings has taken off like there is no tomorrow, and we're always behind a little bit, but that's a great thing for business, right?
Well, you imagine that for many years, Steph, as a beauty therapist and a hairstylist, she's been powder coating women for probably 20 years. So now she's making sprint car chassis look good.
She was at the top of the class when we left the school, and honestly, she does amazing work. And you can go check us out on Facebook or on our webpage, whatever, and see the stuff she does, because she does it all. Like, I go there and I'll help her, but usually I just make more work for her and I mess it up or hit something and she has to redo it, or it's a disaster. She fires me just about 2 or 3 times a week, I'd bet. So I have no say in the business. But she's killing it, and I'm very proud of everything she's doing.
We love the Steph, and we love her. The boardroom for the business is actually the dining room table in the garage, about 50 feet from. I've been in some pretty fiery board meetings. Whenever I'm over there, mate. You're not exactly just around the corner from the Knoxville Raceway. How long does it take you to get there, and when do you get there?
So when we were racing go-karts, we would drive down there on Thursday nights because we raced karts on Friday. And then our boys got older now, so we just leave Fridays kind of usually afternoon. But it takes if you do 10 miles an hour over the speed limit and you don't stop once at all for anything, you can make it there in about 4 hours and 5 minutes. But that's a rare thing.
I think it took me about 5.5. I went through some little town with a rail.
Yeah, you're a sightseer.
Yeah, I didn't mean to. The Northern Campgrounds is a really amazing place, and it's the best way to, when you're driving out of town, you'll see the big sprint car up on the post is the best way to know that you're at the Northern Campground. And that is a little subculture, a little community that you have with the Mainzes and with the Dennis and Betty and also Charlos, you know, the Levitts. There's a beautiful
Oh,
little
yeah.
community that you set up there for yourselves, and
You bet.
it's a really special. You usually grill out. That's one thing people may not know about you. You're actually a very good cook.
I'm average.
I heard Steph go.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have.
He can grill. but
Yeah.
In the kitchen, no.
I can do stuff outside. I don't use an oven much. It ends up making our house smell for a few days. But yeah, we have grills and smokers, and my dad got into building smokers and things like that. And Dennis has bought some pretty cool cooking devices. But we have, between all of us, I think we have 10 camp spots right up at the front of the campground and tents, and we like to put on a pretty good spread of food for our friends and family that come down, or even just a visitor walking by if they're hungry, because we always have way too much food usually. And that's one thing we all kind of love. I mean, we've done everything from having seafood flown overnight to Knoxville from Louisiana that were shrimp, and like it's been pretty cool. The
Stay
different
away
amounts
from
of
the
meat. And
gizzards.
Calvin, huh?
I don't need gizzards.
Oh, them are the bomb.
And what's the
You
other
need to-
chitlins? What's the other thing you?
No, we don't do that stuff. That's nasty.
Good.
Nah. But Calvin at Light and Meats helps us out a bunch with we go there to get the bratwurst or the prime rib, so we can have prime rib breakfast sandwich or Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. And they're just to the east of Knoxville, and we visit them frequently during nationals because we go through so much meat.
Since you took over on the flag stand, that had to be a bittersweet thing for you, because in one situation it meant that you know, now it's time to step up. You know, you're flying the ship, but the other sense, it meant that your dad stepped down. Did you have mixed feelings about that, Justin?
It was, yeah, I mean, you're exactly right with mixed feelings. You know, I've been flagging with my dad for a lot of years. Even before I was at Knoxville, I did, you know, if he needed or his assistant couldn't help him somewhere at a different track, USITS or wherever, I would go do it. And I was nervous because, you know, you don't want to disappoint your dad, for one, and there's a lot on the line at a race. And it took me a while to realize how important everything was that he did for all these years was, and how much detail there was into it. And when he retired finally, it was tough. Yeah, for sure. He, you know, I would like to think that I've watched him for so long, I don't have anything to learn, you know. I mean, it's been all my life I've watched him do this. And he there's some things that he couldn't just tell me, I just had to see happen. And one of those biggest deals was he couldn't tell me how to deal with race car drivers being mad at you for a decision you made. I had to experience it to learn how to deal with that. And that, I mean, it still sucks to this day. I hate it, but it is what it is. It's part of the job. I took that on, and in a nice thing with my dad setting kind of the standard of what happens is a lot of the race car drivers knew that I was going to be similar, I would think. And I'd like to say that I'm pretty close. I mean, I think there's still a lot I have to learn and how to deal with it. I know at one of my first meetings when I had to give a pit meeting, and I'm not a big talker. I'm like, these guys are professionals. They know what they're doing. I shouldn't have to tell them every week what the, you know, blah, blah, blah. And I said, there's one thing different about me and my dad is I have two eyes and I can see twice as much as he did. So don't be messing around with me. And they all laughed. And it's tough because you want to break the silence of those things. And I'm not mean, and I'm not here
No,
I don't want to punish people. I don't want to, or not punish, I guess, but I don't want to put anybody to the back. I don't want to do anything like that. I just want it to be a good, clean, fair race every time. And it isn't hard, but sometimes they like to test you.
I know that Steph will agree with me on this. The older you get, the more I know you, the more you laugh like your dad. You've got the
Yeah.
thing already.
Great. I'm always going to be cuter.
My favorite afro wearing dirt bike rider is watching at the moment, Kados, who
No,
you remind me
Yeah.
a lot of him, and he reminds me a lot of you, because
Mhm.
you've all lived that similar. You watched your dad do what you did. He's watched you
Yeah.
do what you do, and
Yeah.
he's got his own. He's his own kid. He wants to do his own thing with his dirt biking and stuff. Is he still doing that?
Yeah. He does a little bit of it still. I know there's a 3-wheeler frame up at our powder coating shop right now. He wants to rebuild or something. I don't know. And kids are that age, you kind of let them go off
Yep.
and do their deal. You want different things for them. You want them to be home every night or still live with you, that kind of thing, and see them more often than you do. But you also have to let them fly. So I know he
Yeah.
loves racing, but we'll see where he goes. You never know.
Justin, one thing that I really respect about you, mate, is you have a very global view of the world. You're not a radical. You're not a ranter. You do on Facebook get on there quite a bit and just put your point of view forward as something that you think could
Mhm.
make the planet a better place. And I read your
Yeah.
stuff with a very balanced view, mate. I'm very, very proud to call you a friend. You see the world through a very balanced set of eyes. And I know you're very passionate about a better world for your children, for you and Steph, and for your dad,
Mhm.
and for everyone in sprint car racing. So when you see something that compromises that, I know you don't want to sit on your hands, do you?
No, it drives me nuts to see the world in a in a bad light. Like just the other yesterday or whatever, there was or 2 days ago maybe now, there's another school shooting, a senseless school shooting, and they happen here all the time. And nobody knows what to do to fix it. There's people on this side that want to say take guns away. There's people on this side that say it's parenting day or whatever. I'm not going to get into that, but the only way that a change is going to happen is by people talking about it and coming up with ideas until we find the right thing to do. And if you're just sitting there thinking it, it doesn't hurt to say it. If you put it out there and somebody doesn't like it, so what? It's an idea. We have to brainstorm about this and get something fixed to make not just that deal, but like everything. Like race car rules don't change unless people say something about it.
Yeah.
And we had our employee meeting in Knoxville this weekend, and it was probably one of the longer meetings we've had, and there isn't hardly any changing going on, but people had ideas and thoughts that they would just wanted to voice. And that's the kind of thing you need to do to get change to happen. I mean, it can be about the concession stands, it can be about the bathrooms, it doesn't, whatever. You just have to talk about it to get something going. And it drives
Yeah.
me nuts when people don't talk.
I think
I'll be the black sheep in the room. Call me names, I don't care. I'm still gonna say it.
Well, here's a really good point that change came about through that discussion is helmets for flagmen. Now I know probably
Yes.
at the time that probably had to be met with a little bit of, is that going to restrict my vision? Is that going to restrict,
Mhm.
is that going to restrict, not, is that going to make me safer up there? And
Yeah.
Tatnall, you made a term that he actually turned you white one night at Huset's, but
Oh yeah, that was stupid.
that's something that came about, though, that I think
Yeah.
in the end, you've gone, how did we ever do this without these?
Yeah. Yep. The helmets, I think it was Dustin Selvage. I think it was 2009 at Knoxville. He was coming down the front stretch at Knoxville, and I was displaying the white flag in a 360 race, and his wing panel peeled back, and it was down farther on the front stretch, and I saw it peel back, but I thought they do that often, just something that happens. And when he got to the flag stand, it peeled all the way off, and it hit me in the head, knocked me out, shot me back between my dad's legs on the ground, and I was laying there, and my dad was shaking me, get up, get up, get up. And that was 2009. Like, we should have put helmets on by 2010.
Mhm.
And I don't know, it wasn't like to everybody, that's just a freak accident. It ain't never going to happen again, blah, 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 this and that. And, my dad's been hit by metal before multiple times, or dirt clogs, and anything. I've been hit with dirt clogs that knocked me down before off late models. I mean, there's just multiple things, and you don't have any protection up there. Really, it's you're standing behind an I-beam at Knoxville, and Knoxville is the greatest flag stand in the world. There isn't a better one, that you're at the right level, you can see everything, and you're kind of protected by those big I-beams. We've flagged with the NSL back in whatever years ago, and we were on wooden flag stands, or flag stands made out of tailpipes, and we did not feel safe at all. There was a lot of places we went to where Chuck Zitterich would say, we're not flagging here. And I think, I'm not positive if Steve Sinclair was the insurance guy for all that stuff or not, but like, it's crazy that some of these flagmen will get on the flag stands they're on and not protect themselves as much as they can, because if they think it's the sight you can't see, but you can see better because you don't have to blink, you don't have to, you have a way better vision field, because you're not so scared to look to the left because dirt's flying in your eye. You're going to get hit with stuff, but you can see so much better, and you feel a lot more secure. Yeah, they're hot, hell yeah, but that's a small price to pay for living, in my mind. And I've had quite a few flagmen reach out to me from all over the country this year, asking who we get our helmets from, who do we get the sound in earpiece stuff going, and the microphone, and it's just a great thing. Oh no,
that's another thing, Justin, that the sound must be better as well, because you're insulated.
Oh yeah,
you have much clearer audio.
So in our helmets, we use racing electronic earbuds, and so that blocks a lot of the sound. And then the sound system is put in by Racing Electronics. I mean, it's just a great thing. You can hear everything like from upstairs better, and a lot of these guys are probably using the headsets that are from years ago. They've been using them forever, and to have them put all you're doing is putting a Bell helmet on with earbuds and a like a walkie-talkie microphone in front of your mouth, and it's just, it's ridiculous that this isn't more of you don't see it more. There's just stock car race somewhere where that flagman just got blasted in the flag stand, no helmet. The Huset's snowcross race, the flagman just got hit in the head, or somebody out there, I as an official, didn't have a helmet, and it's just a bad deal. And a lot of people just don't think they need it.
You get to look and you get to look like a sprint car driver still. So I mean, it's a win. It's a win-win.
My helmet, Clem's helmet paints our helmets at Knoxville, and I think I look way better than Brian Brown in his helmet.
Woo! Woo! Look out. Casey's here for good.
Brownie has way nicer hair than I do. I mean, I'm pretty short hair. But
Brownie does have Johnny
Brownie's
Bravo hair.
got nice hair.
Brownie is a bit of a star, but he's got his own personal stylist as well with IBM.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're not letting Brownie slide. That's Heather that does his hair, and
absolutely,
she's the one that does that.
April 15, it's only 2 weeks away, mate, for the season opener. Pella Motors, Craig Ford, the series opener, and then the weekend after, 2 nights. The Outlaws are back in April, so it's going to be rug up and gas it up because that's going to be an amazing first couple weeks. How do you get back in the zone? You know how a driver blows the rust off a bit, Justin, right? You get first night back, you're a little rusty. It's memory, it's muscle memory. Is it like that for you? Does it take you a night or two to get back in the zone?
Not really. You know, as soon as we'll get down to the infield and they'll start the cars up for engine heat, and that gets your blood pumping, but when we get up there on the flag stand and the cars start coming by, it's like a whole nother adrenaline rush, like the first time you're doing it. And I mean, I wish everyone could experience that point of view like we get to, because it puts you right back like you just left nationals. Like it's right back to the business of it, and there's nothing better. You don't, and the rules haven't changed much, so there isn't a bunch of questions or there isn't. It's pretty routine. So
the cool
I love that.
This year, Justin, we just last week earlier this week, we had our first meeting, a bunch of a committee that are just going to focus purely on the Knoxville Nationals fan experience. So there's about 5 or 6 of us that get together on a Zoom at a meeting. They're in the building, I'm on the Zoom. But we are talking about how we want to make the fan experience even cooler every year for the Knoxville Nationals, because there's no race in the world that has that incredible buzz about it when you're across the road at Dingus, you're in T-shirt Alley, you're over at the Rib Shack, you're over at the Hall of Fame, you're at, all those places, turn 3 and 4, you're just enmeshed in this culture. And that's one thing that I look forward to being part of. So this year, we've got a really good little committee that are already working on some really cool fan experience things. So, but no, mate, we might even have you involved in a few of those things as well. And I can't wait to see you, Justin. It's you're an important part of my life and my family, and you're a hugely respected person in the Knoxville Raceway community and the broader sense. So I know when you get back up on the flag stand, we know, all right, shit's getting real. JC's going up top. So I hope you feel a sense of pride as well, Justin, in what you do.
I do. I just, to me, I'm just the flagman. People don't come to the racetrack to watch the flagman. They come to watch the races, and if I can have any part of making the races as safe as I can and as fair as I can, and a good experience for the drivers and the fans, I mean, that's all I want out of any night that I'm on a flag stand.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to intervene until there's a driver situation. Ultimately, it's like a referee, and I know what's your favorite team? They wear red, right?
Yeah. I don't really have too many favorites. I have a lot of friends.
Yeah, that's absolutely the best way to be. Hello to you, beautiful girl sitting on the other side of the camera, Steph. I love and I miss you. Can't wait to see you.
I love you.
And all your beautiful children. I can't wait to catch up with Bobby Mine. So now, is Bobby done with Knoxville? Is the kid running now?
No way. I think you might have to get with him on it, but he's gonna race there, and Cole's gonna race there also in 410. I'm believing. We were at their house last weekend, and there's 2 cars in their garage put together. So new trailer out back, and Mandy's doubled up on work now. She's got her Charmed Needle quilting shop, which is a beautiful place, and I've never seen, I didn't know quilting was a big thing, but it's huge. She did make me a beautiful Crown Royal quilt, and it was all the bottled bottled bags from Crown Royal that I drank
It's
with my buddy Sean, and she made us a quilt out of it. I call them a blanket, but
I would have thought she would have called it juicy like an apple creation.
no, my God,
something like that. But I
you're
guess not.
probably gonna get punished
I know.
now, Wade.
I know. But that's such a great story. You know what I am going to do? I am going to go back with, I've tried to convince Betty. I want to go back with Dennis and Betty to Walmart very late at night. And I want to recreate how Betty became Betty. I want to, all right? The Dennis needs to recreate how that whole situation happened. There's so many beautiful, there's so many
a
beautiful
whole nother
stories.
podcast here.
I reckon. Mate, it's great to see you. Make sure you stay warm, travel safe when you head down to the sprint car capital of the world in 2 weeks' time. April 15 is the Pella Motors grand opening night of the season. And then the following weekend, 2 nights with the World of Outlaws, baby. It's going to be huge. Thanks for doing your first Zoom with me.
Yeah, never done this before.
Yeah.
I'm almost feeling techie.
Yeah. Oh, you're techie. No doubt about it, old Chitlin techie. I will see you hopefully in a couple months' time and get around it, everybody. Get around the socials on the Knoxville Raceway. Don't forget to sign up for the newsletter. Eric Arnold does a great job with all the information coming out of there. I know that Tony Bockhoven is pumped about getting back behind the mic with Chris Krug this year and Blake, the new guy on the team down in the middle as well. So
yeah,
huge. Cannot wait, mate. Have a wonderful night tonight. Thank you for hanging with me, mate.
Right on, brother. Love you guys.
Wednesday night slides with Justin Clark next week. I don't even know who we're going to get next week. We're going to talk about that later. We'll try and work it out. Have a wonderful night. Well, thanks for behaving yourself, Justin. Good work.
I did a good job, I think.
I think so. I'm going to hang up before you.
Beth did not even yell at me.
I know. Well, she will as soon as we hang up.
Yeah.
Good night, everybody.
Love you, buddy.
This has been Wade Aunger and Justin Clark on the Wednesday night slide at Knoxville Raceway. Good night, everybody.
Later.